Would you like to know the secrets behind my, Simon Miller's stunning success? Well, I'll tell you. My parents popped me out 30 or so years ago, and then I got to fighting. I don't know what any of that means. What I do know, though, is that WWE is on fire right now. Not literally, and if it is, somebody needs to go and get some water. But there are a bunch of things going on behind the scenes, which I think we should talk about right now. Because indeed, hello, I am Simon for What Culture. Thank you for joining me as always. And here is 10 secrets behind WWE's most recent success. Number 10, the Power of Peacock. Now, wouldn't it be great if we were talking about the animal? There was some kind of a peacock that we bow down to, and the peacock goes, "Nyeh," and it makes wrestling really successful. What are we talking about? And if you are still over in certain parts of the world, such as here in the UK, we don't even have Peacock because we're stuck with the WWE network. But in America, WWE did make this deal. While at first it was a bit like, well, that's strange. As it turns out, it's pretty damn good. Because not only was the Royal Rumble the most watched Royal Rumble in company history, it was the same for the Elimination Premium live event. And when we go back to the Rumble, it was up 52% from 2022 in terms of eyeballs. It's kind of nuts. And this just comes down to basic maths, because right now Peacock has over 20 million subscribers. So when you get into the ratios, every now and then someone's going to go, well, I've already got this streaming service. I used to watch WWE, or I'm still watching it now. Let's just put it on. Click. That's exactly what the powers that be hoped for when they did sign up to this. Also, they're making an absolute fortune. They're going to keep getting this money until 2026. Number 9, brand loyalty. So as soon as you say brand loyalty, people think you're talking about WWE versus AEW. And man, am I done with that. Just go and support professional wrestling. And if you prefer World Wrestling Entertainment, fine. And if you prefer All Elite Wrestling, fine. It doesn't matter. Also, nobody else cares. Basically, having two companies go at it is good for business. However, I totally understand that if you are a fan of a certain age, you were only brought up with one. It was WWE dominating sports entertainment. So you have decided, you know what? I am going to show brand loyalty to them. And in this sense, or in the sense we're about to talk about, it's okay. Because no matter what the weather, or how they're feeling, or what they want to do, there are individuals that will go to as many shows as they possibly can. They will buy or they will watch every single pay-per-view, premium live event, and they actually have disposable income that they want to spend on merchandise, even if they don't like the t-shirt. And you see this a lot on Raw and SmackDown, especially when WWE doesn't have a great crowd. It's not like everyone's going absolutely insane. They just wanted to be there. They knew that WWE was coming into their town, and they felt like it was their duty to support them. And that's fine too. You're perfectly happy. You've got a smile on your face. You're allowed to enjoy wrestling however you do want to enjoy it. But when you have that kind of backing, of course you're able to be more successful within the company. It's like having an army troop, making sure you don't get beat up. I tell you, when I go outside, I could really use that. Number 8, Triple H's 2022 Takeover. This isn't really a secret, but it does need to be talked about. Ever since Paul Levesque took over, he's been doing a great job. It's not like he reinvented the wheel either. He just remembered what he likes from wrestling and probably what he grew up on. And all of a sudden we had more varied matches. We had less scripted promos. And some wrestlers that we always wanted to get a push, got a push. Of course, it's not perfect and we can always get better. But if I had a hand and he was right here, I'd give him a massive pat on the back. I do have my 5-digit device. Sadly, Triple H isn't here. There's always one guy that when you do say this always shouts, well, the bar was so low when Vince McMahon was there, but that's not how it works. You still have to have some acumen for this. I really do think the game is proven that all the experience he has accumulated is now paying off. But I get pretty excited about Mondays and Fridays both weeks, and that's all I need. It's a television show after all, and I'm tuning in to be entertained, so just entertain me. In a sports fashion. Number 7, the road to WrestleMania. We all know that these days WrestleMania is a big deal. I mean, WWE has been hitting the massive stadiums for ages, and now they can just go, WrestleMania, and people go and buy tickets. You don't even need to announce the card. This has totally leaped in 2023 though, because not only has WWE sold over 100,000 tickets for both nights, but they've already gone, we haven't even finished doing our deals, and absolutely, we're about to make more money off the granddaddy of them all than ever. So once again, that's cool momentum, and while it did feel like all pathways were leading in this direction anyway, I think the road to WrestleMania deserves a little bit of a hug. Because everything at the Rumble was great, everything at the Elimination Chamber was great, so now you have fans going, well, I definitely have to get excited about WrestleMania, because that's already the best pay-per-view. What the hell are they going to do there? And trust me, it wasn't always the way when it comes to WrestleMania, and this is yet another occasion where you got to give Triple H a round of applause, because he absolutely planned this. Right now, he's hitting a triple header. Number 6, the Bloodline. So as we already know, you do not need to have a long-term storytelling that blows up to make money in wrestling. WWE was making a fortune before they got back to doing these kind of narratives. But doesn't it make it all the more better when you do have one? Yes. This is exactly where we are right now due to the Bloodline, and I don't even need to say much about this because you have watched this being played out over the last 8 months. It's helped Roman Reigns, it's helped the Usos, it's helped Solo Sikoa, it's helped Kevin Owens, it's helped Sami Zayn. It is just a wonderful ball of loveliness, and I want to marry it. But I don't think anybody has put a foot wrong in all of this time, and it has made SmackDown must-watch television. Like I say, I get pumped to tune in. I mean, just go and watch it when Sami Zayn finally did turn on Roman Reigns and listen to the reaction to go, we're all feeling the same here. And then it continued on Raw the next day, and then it continued on SmackDown. So now we're connecting the dots too. And even when we are done with this tale, I really hope WWE remembers what they did. It's probably also going to send Sami Zayn to the world title at one point in 2023, and has meant we now have 2 mega over baby faces. And there was a time in WWE where we were screaming out for one, and now we've got 2 of them. So go back to the title. It's why the success is here. Number 5, Cody Rhodes. Yep, I just kind of mentioned him. It's as simple as that. Perception is reality after all, and when Cody did indeed make the shocking decision to go from AEW to WWE, there was always going to be some people that were like, well, there must be something to that. Maybe I should go watch that other show again. The support just grew even bigger after he did tear his pec and had that amazing match in the Hell in a Cell, and now he has just become this white meat babyface that everybody loves. And once again, we go back in time. Remember all the other occasions we tried to make a super duper happy good guy? What did we, the fans, do? Boo, boo, we hate you, John Cena. That's not the case now. I mean, we were so damn happy that he won the Royal Rumble. His big return at WrestleMania 38 was all time. And if we do get to 39 and he becomes the world champion and he defeats Roman Reigns, well, I think this momentum is just going to continue. Talk about reading the room. The American Nightmare smashed it. I mean, it also sent messages throughout the industry that you can come from All Elite Wrestling and go to WWE and expect a push. You're not going to be punished because of it. So I think this has just been an inspired move for all parties. I mean, I know I talk about this stat all the time, but I just love it. Do not forget, the rumors of Cody going back to WWE broke at the same time as that maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin was going to return to the ring, and Mr. Rhodes garnered more interest. Never forget it. Before, Nick Khan. Now, if you know, you know, and if you don't know, don't worry about it, but you cannot talk about all of this stuff without looking at Nick Khan and going, that man's done a really good job. Hired back in 2018 to make the Raw and SmackDown deals that are still making WWE a fortune, he is now the CEO. He is going to be a pivotal part when WWE does sell, and he just understands how to conduct himself in interviews. WWE clearly love him. He also just has all these incredible connections that have helped WWE climb the ladder, and he's so self-assured, he's even come out and said, yeah, sure, I'll be the bad guy. If you want to put the blame on my shoulders, I can totally take it. That's my job. He is also one of the key guys that was like, look, we need to shift to more stadium shows because it looks better, and he was totally right. So without him, maybe WWE isn't where it is right now. Ties into number 3, Stephanie McMahon. Because they say somebody's impact on their workplace is often determined by their colleagues. And just go and do some Googling about how people within WWE feel about Stephanie McMahon. It's universal praise. From those in the office to the wrestlers themselves, no one has a bad word to say about Steph. And they just tell you she had a bunch of good ideas, she worked really hard, and she actually cared about you. Sounds lovely. There was some real sadness when she did leave the company, but that's a different conversation for a different day. And the amount of influence she had on WWE to take it to where it is right now is huge. Do not forget, she was one of the people going, we should probably go to the PG market, guys. And while we all got mad about that, did it pay off from a business perspective? Yes. She also helped get more sponsors, which helped WWE make more money. And while we don't have to care about it, is kind of the point. She also generated an absolute load of good PR for the company. Sometimes it kind of does feel like she doesn't get the credit she deserves. Maybe because she's Vince McMahon's daughter, but she really had a knack for this. So she has totally left her mark, and I, for one, hope she does return one day. That would be nice. Number 2, Parity. One thing Triple H definitely supports is women's wrestling. I mean, you just have to go through his days down in NXT, and he did everything he could to tell the fans, we have men's wrestling, we have women's wrestling, but more importantly, it's just wrestling. And while we are still trying to find that perfect balance on the main roster, it's so much better than it was, and do not underestimate the importance of this. And why? Because the shocking revelation I'm about to tell you is that women watch wrestling too. I know, calm down. So anybody that has this crazy idea that we shouldn't push the women as much because more men watch wrestling, you're kind of living on planet Mars. And this works the opposite way too. If all of a sudden you are featuring more females, it stands to reason that more females are gonna watch. I mean, ultimately, it doesn't matter what your gender is, we should open the door and let everybody in, because that is when wrestling is at its best. And if you need more, just go and look at the all-encompassing ratings that we talk about every single week. There is a specific category there for women. So if you are able to find this balance or get parity, do you know what will happen to your audience? It will increase. Also, they have Oscar on their books, one of the best wrestlers ever. No matter how you define yourself as, it's probably someone you want to feature more. Number 1, the pandemic. So, rightly or wrongly, when the world did shut down, Vince McMahon decided, well, pro wrestling can't stop, sports entertainment must continue, so whatever WWE has to do is what we're gonna do. It meant we moved to the Performance Center and put on some shows that are impossible to watch today, because like you're attending a funeral. And of course, soon we had the Thunderdome, which did bring back some of WWE's atmosphere, but it's what happened right after this when we got the boom. Because after WWE did fire a bunch of people, which was not cool, all of a sudden they realized they were saving a bunch of cash because they didn't have their usual rolling circus. And it also reminded them what they needed to do when they came out the other side, which, look, go back through the last 2 years, that's exactly what happened. And all the metrics have gone up since then, and I don't think that's a coincidence. And while, of course, there was always going to be a bit of a novelty when we could go to live shows again, well, it was so far long ago now, you can't tie it into that. So WWE is just popular right now. That's a good thing. Like DDP used to say, why do you want wrestling to be in the toilet? So it goes to show that even when you go through a negative, there may be a positive on the other side. I actually think this is going to grow throughout 2023, which is a somewhat crazy thought. Know of any other secret reasons for WWE's recent successes? Make sure you leave them in the comment below. And look, there's a video somewhere on the screen right now. You should absolutely give it a click. Then please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com and come say hello on social media at SimonMiller316. What Culture WWE. My name is Simon from What Culture. That's how I was born. Thank you very much for joining me as always. I'll see you soon.